Hello, Titans fans everywhere. How's it going, everybody?
And NFL fans in general, if you're watching the show.
If you're tuning in, you're not a fan of either team, welcome in. We are here to break down the Packers coming into town to play the Tennessee Titans here in Week 10. We have a 4-4 Packers team coming in to face a 4-5 Titans team, both coming off losses. So, yeah, pretty exciting matchup. We've got the notorious Aaron Rodgers coming to town. Doesn't happen very often, but so on their team stats, the strongest point of their team, kind of surprisingly, knowing their offense, is their rushing defense. They are first in the NFL against the run. That is a strong point of their team, which is kind of surprising if you ask me, but their passing defense is where we can make our money. They are 19th in the NFL. No, I'm sorry, 17th. So struggling a little bit against the pass. But as far as their offense goes, man, they are both 19th, or they are 19th in both passing and rushing.
Okay.
Per game.
So we know they're 4-4. They won their first game against Jacksonville. No surprise there.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to Minnesota, which ended up being a tougher game looking back on it than we originally thought.
Mm-hmm.
Won against a very good Detroit team coming on right now. Beat the New York Giants. Lost to the Cowboys, but the Cowboys are looking extremely strong this year. Beat the lowly Chicago Bears. And then they've lost their last two. A close one, shootout to the Atlanta Falcons. And then maybe their most surprising loss of the year, at home last week to the Indianapolis Colts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So coming off two losses in a row, they're going to be extremely angry and hungry, looking for a win.
Looking at the schedule, as you can see, they've lost to good teams. They've lost to the Vikings and the Cowboys, the Falcons. So this is not a terrible 4-4 team by any means at all. It's going to be a tough challenge.
It is.
For sure.
So let's go ahead and get into the positional breakdowns. What do you say?
Let's do it. Tell us a little bit about Aaron Rodgers and how he's doing.
Yes, we all know about Aaron Rodgers, future Hall of Fame quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback, possibly, arguably, one of the best quarterback in the league right now. He's having another very Aaron Rodgers type of year, already over 2,000 yards passing, 20 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. That is a crazy good ratio. I think one thing we have to be worried about, especially since a lot of our defense is predicated on the pass rush, is his ability to kind of weasel his way out of tackles and move around in the pocket.
Very underrated mobility.
Yes.
For sure.
Man, I feel like it's becoming more and more rated.
Right, yeah. People know
As time goes. People know that he can break tackles, just arm tackles. He can move his way out of the pocket. He can buy time for his receivers to get open, and he can make things happen by moving out of the pocket. He's currently number 1 in the NFL in passes thrown outside the pocket.
One more thing to add. He has accounted for all of their touchdowns this year, whether throwing or rushing. He is definitely the vocal point of that offense, as is the case usually. Of course, on our side of things, Mariota is on the upswing. I know he had those crucial turnovers in the game last week against San Diego, giving up 2 touchdowns. He's still putting up points for us. If we find ourselves in another shootout and we put things on Mariota's hands, I think he's capable of doing it, but the only way we could probably pull this out of is if he has 0 mistakes if it comes to that. But Mariota's playing really good right now. He's not on Aaron Rodgers' level, of course, as Aaron Rodgers is in the elite company of quarterbacks.
Be very elite.
But the good thing for the Titans is Mariota is on his game. In the past 5 games, he's put up 15 touchdowns, 4 turnovers. So very good trend for Marcus Mariota right now. So we are definitely going to have him play a really good game.
Aaron has struggled a little bit this year so far.
He has.
Whether you mentioned they're only 19th overall in offense. So I know they've dealt with some injuries on the offensive end. But I think overall we're still going to have to give the advantage to Mr. Aaron Rodgers.
Agreed. He would have the advantage in the quarterback department, I think, over any team in the league.
On to the running backs.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually very surprised to see that the Packers' rushing offense is equal to their passing offense because their running game has been struggling, especially as of late. As we all know, Eddie Lacy was kind of revamped coming into the season, but he's down with an injury, placed on IR. They don't have him. James Starks has been out recently with an ankle injury. I know he's been limited in practice this week, so we could see him. But they've been putting a wide receiver as their running back, Ty Montgomery, and I think he missed last week due to an illness. Even then, I don't think the running game is anything too much to worry about. If James Starks does play this week, he's a very capable running back. But and Ty Montgomery, I know they use him a lot in kind of like swing out passes, not just straight up runs. Obviously, he's not just a straight up running back. He's more of a wide receiver. So have to look for him in kind of like the short passing game as well, because they utilize him there as well.
There's not a lot to say about them other than they've been decimated with injuries, but the Titans running backs have kind of been decimated with injuries. We're expecting DeMarco Murray to be a full go this week, and obviously he is the best running back that is going to be on the field. I know we had a kind of an off game last week against San Diego. They had a tough running defense, but we still couldn't get hardly anything going. Part of that had to do with us getting behind so early last week, so we weren't able to establish any kind of running game early. I know we're going to talk about the Packers defense here in a second, but they are number one against the rush. So that's going to be tough for DeMarco Murray. But as far as personnel, talent-wise goes, I mean, I've got to give the edge to the Titans here.
You got to. On to wide receivers and tight ends. Possibly one of the most dynamic and better positions that the Packers have. Their trio of talented wide receivers, Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams, and Randall Cobb, all have over 400 yards already on the season. Jordy Nelson's actually over 500 and leading their team in touchdowns with 7. Adams is actually second with 6 touchdowns. Randall Cobb's missed a few games, and he still got over 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. It's kind of like a three-headed dragon, because Aaron Rodgers doesn't really favor a receiver. He hits the open dude, and most of the time he's not even open, and he still makes a great pass to hit him. Obviously, Jordy Nelson and I think Randall Cobb are their number 1 and number 2, but Devontae Adams has had a very nice season, especially with Randall Cobb missing some time, and he was listed on the injury report again this week with a hamstring, so we'll have to monitor that throughout the week. In terms of tight ends, Jared Cook has been missing some time, but he has been limited in practice this week. So another guy, they're starting to get healthier than they have been. So this would be the worst possible week for the Titans for all their players to come back from injuries. We know what Jared Cook's capable of if he does play. He's a very athletic player, but just haven't lived up to the potential.
We know that as Titans fans. But even so, even if he doesn't go, Richard Rodgers is still back there at tight end, and he's a capable pass catcher. They don't utilize him as much like that, but I do remember a specific Hail Mary that he caught to win the game against the Lions last year.
I was about to say, they utilize him in Hail Mary situations, that's for sure.
Their pass catchers are among the best in the league. They have a great unit.
And very, very even across the board. Like I said, Aaron Rodgers likes to spread the ball out between, especially those 3 guys. Who's ever open, he throws it to. They're all averaging over 50 yards a game. It's going to be tough. Tell us about the Titans.
The Titans receiving group is looking a little more, or it's looking better and better, in my opinion, as the weeks go by, as our passing game kind of clicks with Mariota playing well. We're seeing Delaney Walker being a consistent pass catcher. Rashard Matthews is breaking through with 5 touchdowns in the past 5 games. He got 2 last week versus the Chargers. Kendall Wright, he made a couple big plays for us last week. He got 2 catches for 60-something yards. I know he had that one long reception. Still a very, very valuable receiver for us. Tajay Sharp got in the mix last week too. He showed up, made some big catches for us. Our chemistry is building with Mariota. But as far as the skill set goes with our guys versus the Green Bay Packers players, I think we have the advantage as far as tight ends go, but their talents at receiver kind of overwhelms the entire category, in my opinion.
Advantage lies with the Packers in that one. Sorry, Titans, you had your run getting the advantage in the wide receiver categories, but no longer.
Tell us a little bit about them Packers' personnel on defense.
Well, as you mentioned, they're number 1 in terms of rushing, which is huge because obviously our offense benefits from a balance, number 1, but
that's going to be the key.
Running game is our first priority. But they got some playmakers on the defense, but like their offense, have been dealing with injuries. I know Clay Matthews has been missing time. Obviously, I think he is the star, kind of their captain of the defense. So if he's not able to go, I think that's huge for our team. I think he's kind of the anchor to that number 1 run defense, as he's kind of a do-it-all linebacker. Plays outside, inside, defensive end.
And the emotional leader as well. He
exactly.
Gets him going.
Can get to the quarterback. So if he doesn't play, that's huge. Currently, Nick Perry is leading their team in sacks with 6.
As far as stats goes, their leading tackler is Jake Ryan, who is a second-tier player out of Michigan. So he's probably BFFs with Taylor Lewan, but hopefully they will be enemies come Sunday, and Taylor will come out victorious.
But enemies with Jack Conklin. In terms of secondary, they've dealt with some injuries. I know Sam Shields is out, but they still have their good free safety. Clinton Dix. One of the top 10 names in the NFL. I know that's a quiet category we've been running through this year.
We love the good names, though.
He's been good for them. Currently leading their team in interceptions with 2. Not a whole lot, but he's capable of making a pick, especially if Mariota makes a poor read, which he's capable of. Let's not forget about Julius Hot Peppers. Also got him. I know he's aging, but aging defensive linemen like to get after a quarterback, namely Robert Mathis for the Colts. So I'm not going to count out Julius Peppers. But yeah, it's going to be a tough matchup. Number 1, run defense facing our exotic smash mouth. We like to run the ball, but we saw our passing game come on last week, take away the turnovers, and we looked very good, in my opinion. So, going to be an interesting matchup. Our offense versus their defense.
But on to the Titans defense. Man, Titans defense coming off the worst game we've played of the season. Phillip Rivers just looked at us and said, I'm picking these guys apart. I know how to exploit them, and he did. I mean, you guys know who we have. We have the Brian Arakpos and Derek Morgans and Jarrell Casey's, but we have not been getting after the quarterback that we had been doing earlier in the season, particularly against the Dolphins and the Browns. But that's going to be key. If we give Rodgers time, regardless of how that offense is playing, he's going to pick us apart. But yeah, our defense, it's hit and miss, and hopefully they aren't going to have a letdown against the run like we did against San Diego. Because if they can run the ball, and that's going to open even more things up for Aaron Rodgers, that's going to spell doom for the defense, and we're going to find ourselves in another shootout. It's fun. It's fun being in a shootout, but it's heart-stopping and very stressful.
But looking at overall defenses, I know the Packers have the number 1 rush defense, but we were coming in, we were a top 10 defense overall, rush and pass. But with how we played last week, just getting gashed, especially in the run game, which was our strong suit, I think I'm going to have to go advantage to the Packers.
Yeah, I agree slightly, though. I mean, if they played each other last week instead of this week, I would probably give the advantage to the Titans. But man, we looked pretty suspect, and we were exposed big time, I feel like, against the Chargers. And Aaron Rodgers can do everything Phillip Rivers can and more.
The odds are stacked against us if you look across the board. Obviously, we gave the Packers 3 checks to our lowly 1, and our running game is a little question, especially with the injuries we've been dealing with. But let me mention this real quick. I think we're going to get back our starting left guard, Quentin Spain. He's been hurt the past couple weeks, but I think he will be back. So hopefully that'll help us in the running game. Nice. Very nice.
Thanks. All right, continue with your prediction.
I like the grit and the grind and the fight that I'm seeing out of this Titans team, and I think that's one thing lacking out of this Green Bay team this year. I know they have stars on offense and on defense. I feel like they're just lacking that kind of heart and soul that I'm seeing out of the Titans team. And I think playing at home, coming off a loss, I think the Titans are going to turn it around. I think it's going to be another high-scoring game. I like the pace our offense is on right now in terms of points. I think we get it done 34-24.
Man, we're catching the Packers, I think, though, at a bad time, because I think after that loss to the Colts, they're going to come into our stadium angry. They're going to play mad. Funny, the score you predicted, because the one I had going was 27-24. So have us scoring a touchdown less and a little bit of a tighter game.
Well, if you've been watching this show, you know how this goes. It's time to turn our predictions and our fate up into the hands of the Madden gods, who once again were right last week. Amazingly, I thought we were going to have that game and prove them wrong, but no.
Yeah.
They got it right again. Chargers winning. So we're going to turn back to them, see who wins. Bringing in a familiar foe to play against us this week.
Big time rival.
We're bringing back in Amy because she picked against the Titans. And every time she picks against the Titans, we're going to have to play her and beat her. Currently, we are 0-2 on the season, and playing Amy because she is, I think she's actually one of the Madden gods in the flesh.
She is.
So
you're married to a Madden god.
Yeah,
That's
she
cool.
is getting better and better, so it's getting tougher and tougher on us, and I think we're getting worse at the game.
And it's hurting my self-esteem to keep losing.
But anyways, this is the week we turn it around.
Can we beat Amy for once?
Yes.
Oh, it ends now.
Marmy Oaks, have you ever heard that name before? Yeah. The dude is a beast in any offense. Go, Taylor Lewan. What? Oh, go! Go, baby! Go! 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 Go!